Hey folks, my name is Dennis Gillan, and a couple weeks ago I got a nice little email from Ashley over there at Park West Medical asking me if I could speak to other survivors of suicide loss for National Survivors Day. And trust me, there was a day I would have said, go pound sand. I can't do it. I can't do it. But obviously today is not that day because here I am. And let me tell you about my losses, and then I'll tell you how I handled those losses. And yes, it's plural. You heard it correctly. And it's like the tale of two cities. One loss I went this way, the other loss I went this way. You literally can hear my voice cracking because it's still sensitive. And it'll be sensitive to the day I die. I just have to get used to it. That's how it is with the suicide loss. There's a certain amount of guilt and shame that come with it. It's not deserved. No, it's not deserved. It just comes with it. And we need to go on. So let me tell you about loss number one. My older brother Mark. I'm one of five kids. Sheila, Mark, me, Dennis, Janice, Matthew. Older brother Mark battled depression for years. I was in college, got a phone call on a Wednesday. I'll remember it like all you can. It was like I can remember it like it was yesterday. It's October 26, 1983. I'm a junior in college. Phone rings. It's my sister Janice saying, "Dennis, you need to come home. Mark died in a car accident." All right, you guys know why I'm here. Mark battled depression for years, and the disease state won. Mark died by suicide. Didn't handle that very well. Didn't go to any survivor meetings. Did not do anything that was remotely positive as far as coping skill. I drank a lot. I was 20. The drinking age was 18 at the time. You name it. Drugs, alcohol, blah, not good. Trying to cope with that loss. Please don't do that. The temptation's real. It's there. Don't do it. Don't do it. You got to go through this grieving process with a clear mind. And here's why. As I was drinking my face off, so was my little brother Matthew. Remember the Gillan Five? Sheila, Mark now in heaven, me, Janice, and Matthew. 11 years after we lost Mark to suicide, the phone rang again, and it's Janice. And to this day, when my sister Janice calls me, my heart skips a beat. In a drunken stupor with access to lethal means, and in a world of hurt, Matthew was gone. That's two. That's two. At this point, I did something sort of smart. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I got drunk the night of Matthew's funeral, but I went back to home. I lived in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I decided to take a time out from drinking. I was pretty depressed. Alcohol is a depressant, and decided I'm not going to drink. And I took a time out, and I'm happy to report I'm still in that time out. I like sobriety. I like who I am. I like what it does to me. I like remembering stuff. Haven't had a drink since. I do toast at weddings. That's it. I don't want to jinx the couple. And I don't like champagne, so I give it to my wife. I sobered up. Second thing I did, number two, and probably these two reasons are the reason I could do this video today. I went and saw a professional therapist, mental health specialist. I couldn't handle it. And I had to call the pros and had to go to the bullpen. Like they do in baseball, I had to bring a pro in. And I went and saw a therapist, and I still go to a therapist to this day. I need it. My mental health is just as important as my physical health. I had to survive the loss of Mark, had to survive the loss of Matthew. Got a lot going on up here, as do you, my fellow survivors, as do you, and I recommend that. I recommend that. I also want to thank you all for showing up today. It was years before I could even speak about my brothers. I moved. I told you I lived in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I moved to Chicago, and people would ask me how many kids in my family, and I would say three. You all know the answer. It's five. I didn't want to talk about Matt and Mark. Didn't want to go there. Years later, and the grieving process is different for everyone. I've seen people who suffered a loss jump right into the battle and want to help others. I couldn't do that. My grieving process was really long and still is. I actually volunteered for the Suicide Prevention Lifeline in Chicago, and I could do that. I was anonymous. You know the 1-800-273-TALK, which is soon to become 988. They're going to shorten it down. I worked the phones, but I still didn't tell anyone about my brothers. And then when I moved to South Carolina, where I live now, I did one of those out of the darkness walks where I met with other survivors like you're doing today, which hats off to you. I salute you. I should have done this years ago, and I didn't do any of this. And it was at that walk where I actually spoke for the first time about my brothers, and someone said, you need to speak more about them. And they were right. I do need to speak more about them. I need to keep them alive in my heart, in my mind, and also with my lips. So I do speak about my brothers all the time now. This is coming from a guy who couldn't speak about them at all. Folks, you all know where I'm coming from. I would say I'm a survivor of suicide. I think someone would ask me, did you attempt? I said, no, I didn't attempt. And they had the word loss. I'm a survivor of suicide loss. Then they would get the gist. I lost somebody. Then I tell them I didn't lose one. I lost two. And then it gets weird after that. But one's too many. You know, we have 48,000, over 48,000 in America. I can go on my rant and talk about demographics. Oh, it's this, that, and the other thing. One is too many. One is too many. So my heart goes out to you. But I do tip my hat to you for coming out today and doing something positive. And some of you are here because you know you need it. Some of you were dragged here because you love the person that said we need it. It doesn't matter how you got here. You got here. And we're going to let the healing start. It starts with conferences like this. It starts with you hopefully going to see someone professional if you're struggling. It starts with you doing some introspective thinking and going, what can I do that is positive coping skill, because this absolutely sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A death by suicide is not like anything else. I'm going to tear up thinking about it. It's not like anything else. It's with us. There's a unfair stigma that we attach. We do it to ourselves. It's not deserving. And we do. Eventually, you'll get to the point where I am now. We do have our life to live. Matt and Mark made a choice, and they thought maybe life was better without him. Life was so much better with him. They made a choice. Now we have to go on, and it's really hard. It is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard, but it's doable. Day in, day out, one day at a time. You've got this. You've got this. And I appreciate Ashley for reaching out to say, Dennis, can you give me a 5 to 7 minute clip of what you went through and how you got back on your feet? Am I doing cartwheels? Nah, I'm always going to carry my brothers around. But remember this. Remember this. This is what you're doing today. A shared joy is a double joy. A shared sorrow is half a sorrow. Share the sorrow today and with others, and speak highly of the loved ones you lost. And eventually, you have to get where I was with Mark and Matt. I had to give them grace. Did not know what they were going through at the time. I had to give them grace and forgive them. But the first step you did was showing up today. And I, Dennis Martin Gillan, salute you for doing that. Thank you.